Let us call the April 20th Merced County Association of Governments Board meeting to order. We start with roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Director Espinoza? Director Hogue? Here. Director Yanez?
Here.
Director McDaniel?
Present.
Director Moran? Director Nagy?
Present.
Director Nelson?
Here.
Director Pereira? Director Silvera? Vice Chair Pedroso?
Here.
Chair Serrato?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Is there anyone here who would like to say a prayer or lead the invocation? If not, we can go straight to the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, seeing none, who would like to lead us in the pledge? Okay. Thank you, Darren.
My pleasure.
Please stand, everybody.
Thank you, Chair. This is an honor.
It's an honor to have you do it.
Try that. Does that work?
How's that? Does it work? Yes, thank you. Lord, please look down on us today. We open our hearts to you. Our decisions we'll be making will be in your name. There's a lot of responsibilities that we bear, and we take it all very personal. So Lord, please bless us today before this meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Darren. All right. Let's lead us in the pledge.
Oh, sorry.
Director Yanez, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
She's trouble over here, Mr. Chair.
I've just got to get these two in order real quick. All right, item 2, the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Who had the second? I think I heard Pedroso 1. Director Moran second. Okay, with the second. Any opposition? Okay, hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Takes us to item 3, which is public comment. Does anyone here wish to address this board on any item that's not on the agenda? Okay, so you'll have 3 minutes to do so. All right, Mary Michael, anybody in virtually who's looking to?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right. Again, seeing nobody, takes us to item 4, which is our Citizens Advisory Committee report. Turn it over to Maddie Brown. That's fancy.
It is fun. All right, good afternoon. For those of you I haven't met, my name's Madeline Brown, and I'm the student representative for the CAC. For our meeting on April 7th, staff presented the MCAG and TJPA action information and discussion items, and all action items were passed as presented. And we had quite a bit of discussion this past session. The first discussion item was the overall work program for fiscal year 23 and 24, and particularly learning about plans for the conference room at MCAG. So we were excited to hear about its expansion. The second discussion item was nominating representatives for the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District. And part of the discussion there was the challenge of having representation at meetings that are removed from our rural communities. The 2 locations for the Air Pollution Control District are Modesto and Fresno. And as representatives, this is occurring at out-of-pocket cost, and it just demonstrates some of the challenges we face in our more rural communities. So that's an ongoing issue I'm sure we're all familiar with. But in light of that, Jose Delgadillo was nominated to represent us with Chair Gutierrez as alternate. Our third discussion point was the update to the One Voice legislative platform and representation being able to attend Washington, D.C. and represent Dos Palace. And the 2 discussion items there were about improvements to the theater. That sounds wonderful. I'm not familiar with it, but I'll have to go check it out. And then the second discussion item was concerns about water quality that will be presented Let's see, and then the fourth discussion item was about general benefits and challenges associated with transitioning from diesel heavy trucks in the Central Valley moving towards alternative fuel sources, and how that will have to come with a paradigm shift for goods movement in the Central Valley. And then last but not least, Chair Gutierrez recognized Brian Kroger for his 4 years of service with the CAC. We are very grateful for his time. Can I answer any questions for anyone?
All right. Any questions or comments for Ms. Brown?
Thank you.
All right, seeing none. Thank you. Thank you for a good report. All right. Item 5, our Caltrans report.
Marlon is online, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Marlin. Okay. We could pass to. Okay. Marlon, welcome. It's your favorite time of the month. Just presenting to us and having us tell you about all our problems. So the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Madam Director, board members. Always a pleasure. I'll give I don't know if they're brief Caltrans updates, but I do have some updates for the board today. And Dennis gives his regards. He could not make it today. He has another meeting that he has to attend to. So, but I want to start with just our major activity this week, which is it's a national activity, and it's the National Work Zone Awareness Week. And as you probably are aware, each year at Caltrans, we honor our fallen employees at the statewide Workers Memorial. And this is on the west steps of the state capitol in Sacramento. All family members, coworkers, general public, friends are invited to attend this memorial. And this is something District 10 is going to be partnering with headquarters on. So we'll be having our District 10 memorial at the same time, and that will be on April 27th at 11 a.m. So that's next Thursday morning. And this will be broadcasted live on YouTube. I can share the link in the chat if you'd like, but it will be live webcasted, and the link will be on our Caltrans website. So just wanted to make sure that our partners are aware of that. But having said that, there are some good news that I wanted to share that's been recently made public, and that starting with the California Transportation Commission, CTC, just past this past month in late March, they allocated $1.1 billion for projects, and there were some funding awards for Merced County, which we're very happy about as always. Two that have been awarded recently are the project to replace bridge approach guardrail. This is for 2 bridges and actually 12 locations along State Route 140 in Gustine and in Merced, totaling $4.4 million, including $3.96 million in federal IJA funds. So that's great news for the county, great news for Gustine as well. And we do also have a project that was awarded at actually various locations in the county, Route 59, Route 140, and Route 152. This is basically for seismic retrofits and upgrading bridge rails at 7 bridges and applying some concrete overlay on 1 bridge and some architectural treatment on another. This is a total of $16.6 million that was awarded for this bridge work. And 14.75 of those 16 million was actually federal funds as well. So that's great news again for Merced County, and we're very happy to share that award with the county. So looking forward to getting those bridges upgraded. Couple other minor things I want to mention. On the department side, we are working on a transit policy, and this is something that is probably going to be released later this year. But we're going to be, Caltrans, the department, we're going to work on a policy to prioritize transit with the objectives of facilitating the delivery of projects that provide reliable transit on the state highway system. And this is also to emphasize strengthening partnerships with our local transit agencies and developing those corridor plans that support transit. So we'll hear more about this as we move forward, but right now the director's policy is being drafted. I expect that to be circulated hopefully later on this year, and looking forward to the coordination that comes out of that with our transit partners as well. So just wanted to share that. And in addition, we do have our Caltrans Road Safety Action Plan. That's been released, and that is through Caltrans headquarters. Again, this is integral to implementing the director's policy for road safety and also achieving our goal of 0 fatal and serious injury crashes by 2050. So this aligns with our recent safe system approach. And what you'll see out of this is also every district across the state will be developing a road safety implementation plan. So we recently hired a road safety program manager, and his his name is tough to pronounce, but his
Never seen Marlon laugh like
his name is Ramathan. But we want to have an introduction for him to you at a future date for the board. So I know that's something that we're going to try and work on to get him in front of you guys, hopefully in the near future. But I just know that roadway safety is something that we're focusing on very much, and it aligns with our department goals. So also moving on, just want to mention some funding opportunities that are happening. First of all, the Wildlife Crossing Pilot Program. This is a federal program from FHWA. There's about just over $100 million available in this program through fiscal year 22-23. Federal, tribal, state, local agencies are eligible to apply for this program for reducing wildlife vehicle collisions, improving habitat connectivity. And so this is something that can apply to construction or non-construction projects. So we're happy to partner with any of our local agencies, MCAG, county, or any other partners who are eligible and willing to partner with Caltrans. And we're also happy to provide a letter of support for this funding opportunity as well. On that line as well, we do have the Federal Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program, which is administered through US DOT. And that program is another multi-million-dollar program eligible to cities, counties, and other local entities, regional governments. This program is going on until July 10th. We do have this information also on our website, and if you'd like more information, we're happy to share that. We're also offering partnering letters of support for this program as well. This is, again, tied to roadway safety for all users, not just vehicular, but multimodal users. So we're happy to support any interest in this program as well. Feel free to reach out to myself or Tom Dumas as well. Lastly, I want to mention our state funding, which is the Reconnecting Communities, Highways to Boulevards program. This program is connected to the federal Reconnecting Communities program, but as Caltrans, we're developing guidelines for the state funded portion of the program. So we have a workshop on Tuesday, May 9th from 1 o'clock to 2:30, and it's going to go over all the guidelines. The guidelines are not final. So once they're finalized, we'll have a call for applications, and I'll share that with the board as well at that time. So I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of the workshop that's upcoming. If you'd like information on that workshop, I'm happy to share that with the board. I think lastly, I just want to mention also some local highway advisories that we have work going on in the county. And to be specific, it's just ramp closures on northbound 99 at G Street and R Street in Merced for construction through April 28th, which is next Friday. And that concludes my updates. Happy to take any questions, comments, concerns. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the time.
Thank you, Marlon. Thank you, as always, for your update. Would you mind emailing us some of the, for example, the Reconnecting Communities information? Is that possible? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anything else, too, you think would be helpful to facilitate that? Right. Any questions, comments from Marlon? Darren?
You have a question? No.
Hi, Marlon. Good to see you. I just want to ask, do you have a list of the bridges that are going to be getting some of that funding? for Merced County,
Yes.
if you could. And I just want to say I'm looking forward to you introducing us to the guy whose name you can't pronounce next time you're here.
We'll do, Director. Yeah, we'll make sure that you get a proper introduction when the time is appropriate. Looking forward to that.
And will you be attending our policy council conference next week?
I will. Looking forward to seeing you, and hopefully other directors will be there as well.
Yep, see you there.
Director Nagy.
Marlon, thank you for everything you do, and thank you for the bridges that are going to be coming up in Gustine and 140. One in particular that needs work kind of immediately, it's got some very huge potholes, is the one south of Gustine on the 140-33 north of Sullivan Road. It goes over the irrigation canal. It's got some craters. That's all. See you next week, too.
Thank you, Director. I'm making note of that bridge. I'll ask our maintenance team to address that.
All right, who's next? Anyone? All right, going once, going twice. I think that's it, Marlon. Get off relatively easy today. So appreciate all the work, and thanks for the update.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, informational items. Are there any items that any members of the board would like pulled for a report or some sort of separate consideration? Okay, seeing none, takes us to item 7, the consent calendar. Any items to be pulled separately, any discussion or a motion?
I'll move to approve.
All right, McDaniel, Pedroza. All right, any opposition? All right, hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Takes us to the MCAG action items, Section 8. Section 8A is our first one, the blended fare box recovery ratio. Mauricio Torres. Welcome.
Can you hear me now? All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm here today to ask the board to set the blended fare box recovery ratio for TJPA. So in order to qualify for certain levels of funding under TDA, transit claimants must maintain a fare box recovery ratio of 20% if the claimant is operating in an urbanized area and 10% for a rural area. Our transit operator operates in both. So in November, we brought an item for a methodology which was approved. With that methodology, we came up with a number of 16.3. So we are requesting that the board set the blended fare box recovery ratio to 16.3% for TJPA effective fiscal year 23-24, which commences in July 1st. I'd be happy, attached, you will find the calculations in the staff report on how we calculated the 16.3%. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions for Mauricio? All right, seeing none. Any other public input? Again, seeing none. All right, back to the board for discussion and or motion.
Move to approve. Second.
All right. Vice Chair Pedroza, second from Director Moran. All right, any opposition? All right, seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mauricio.
Thank you.
8B, the overall work program for fiscal year 2023 and 24. Mr. Knopf.
Gotta move it up a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, directors. For your approval today is the fiscal year 23-24 overall budget for the MPO. Last month, we gave a presentation about the work plan that the MPO department's going to do, so I'll just do a quick summary. Thank you. All right. So fiscal year 22-23 overall budget summary. We are, as Ms. Maddie Brown mentioned, we are looking at doing improvements to our conference room, expanding the conference room so we can hold our JPA meetings in that conference room. We're also looking at a cost of living adjustment of 5%, one full-time new position and one part-time position for this part of the budget. The full-time position is going to be an NPO planner, and then the part-time, it's like 1/3 of the position is going to be for IT tech. The remaining budget, salary of the budget will be coming out of RWA, TJPA, and YART's budget. All right. All right. All right. All right. So the revenues increased by $1.8 million. That's a 39% increase. The funding that increased are that regional housing transportation, the regional housing plan, REAP 2.0 funding, and then also the UC Merced portion of $100,000. We, as Director Serrato was on the vehicle this morning, we got a confirmation from the UC. They are still interested in partnership with this consolidation plan, so we'll be moving forward with the RFP release next month. Again, our expenditures increased by $1.8 million, which is a 39% increase. The salaries and benefits increased because of COLA, a new position, and partial potential merit increase for staff. And then for professional services, we got EV readiness, the EV, struggling today, the EV, long day today, the EV study plan, the non-motorized study plan, and then the 2 SB1, which will include next fiscal year, and then also the UC Merced consolidation study, and also the MCAG conference room improvement. So that concludes this presentation.
All right. Questions? Any questions on the 23-24 budget? Director Nagy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On your expenditures, I assume that the fixed assets going from 50,000 to 450, that mainly is the conference room?
Correct.
300 and something thousand of it?
It's it's about $450,000. That's including architect, engineering, and the construction of it.
Okay, and then the professionals and special services, because that one went up over $1 million. What?
Yep, and that's because of those studies.
Is that all those studies?
Correct.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Sorry.
Anyone else?
If I could, I'm going to ask Nav. Nav, just want to confirm that this budget that is before the board today hasn't changed from what was provided as the draft.
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, Director Silvera.
Thank you. The 100,000 from UC Merced, they're funding the whole study?
Partial. So we're providing 50%, and they're providing the remaining 50%.
Okay. It's going to cost 200,000 then?
That's the max budget.
That's the max.
All right, anybody else? All right, any input from the public? Seeing none, nothing online. All right, back to the board for further discussion and/or motion.
Silvera, second.
Joseph Silvera. Any opposition? Okay, seeing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nav. Thanks for doing that under difficult circumstances. We appreciate you. Hey. Your C game is better than most people's. All right, Mary Michael, 8C, the One Voice platform.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Good to spend most of the afternoon with many of you. This item before you today is an action item to amend the 2023 One Voice legislative platform to include policy priorities put forward by the City of Dos Palos. Subsequent to your action last month, the City of Dos Palos indicated their desire to participate in One Voice this year. We're happy to have them. So this action today would amend the platform to include their priorities that fall under the areas of transportation, water, and community facilities. Their delegate will be Director Hogue, and their fact sheets are there in your packet for you to see any details you may be interested in regarding their wastewater treatment facility, historic theater, and walking paths and bridge replacement projects. Director Hogue has been participating in the delegation meetings, so she's up to speed with what's been going on, hasn't missed a beat, as many of you know who are also participating in that trip. So that's the extent of the action today. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Questions for Mary Michael?
Chair Silvera, motion to approve.
Silvera, Nagy. All right, any opposition? Okay, seeing none, motion passes unanimously. 8D, Mary Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This action today is always a fun one. The action is to officially award the 2023 Anna Maria Fuentes Scholarship to Merced High School senior Zahn Forrest Mua. As many of you know, this is an action item that comes before you every year. Every year we give $1,000 to a local Merced County high school senior who meets various criteria around GPA, community service, extracurricular activities, and the committee this year selected unanimously Mr. Mua to receive the scholarship. He ranked first in his class with a 4.75 cumulative GPA and has significant academic achievements as well as extracurricular activities. He plans to attend Stanford and pursue a degree in biomedical engineering and biochemistry. So again, another smart one here locally. We hope he comes back to put all those skills to good use. This scholarship is funded 100% through donations, and we're just excited we get to do this again. I want to thank Directors Pedroso, Espinoza, and Moran for being on the selection committee, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And if you have any additional, if you want any additional information, something new we did this year was include a little summary of Mr. Mua's achievements on page 148 of your packet. So that's my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Josh?
I don't have any questions, but it was very difficult to choose just one person because they were all exceptional candidates. And so when we went through, it was really tough, but I don't know this person specifically, excuse me, but it was almost unanimous with his scoring and how he came out. So it was very impressive. Just his background, his what he's done in school, all of his extracurricular stuff while also maintaining the high GPA was really impressive, as were all the other ones. So I just, I made the joke, I hate being on these things because you have to pick somebody, but it was really cool to see, what type of skills these students have here in Merced. So thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. No, thank you. Thank you everybody who worked on it. Great selection, and obviously just from what was in the staff report seemed like a very, very well-deserving young man. So congratulations to Mr. Mua as well. All right. Is there any further discussion or a motion? Okay, motion from Director Moran. There's a second from Director Yanez. Any opposition? Okay, hearing none, passes unanimously. Congratulations again. Good work, everybody, and congratulations to Mr. Mua. All right. Item 9, nothing. You still want to be heard on that, Stacey?
Can
I? Takes us to 10, which is our transit JPA action items. Mr. Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Afternoon, board members. The Transit Joint Powers Authority for Merced County received its ninth year of funding through the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program that CARB provides for the state. This funding is to provide assistance for operations and capital for the agency. The total apportionment for Merced County, the region, was $715,252. We have two initiatives, two projects that we'd like to earmark for this funding. We'd like to put $350,000 towards Merced County No Fare Left Behind. We kind of did this last year with providing free fares from July, August, and September. We're going to try to do that again. We're going to do that again this year. We also want to provide free service on holidays where we provide service anyways. We usually provide reduced service, Sunday service on holidays such as Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, Veterans Day, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve. And we also want to provide some free fare to the fair day. So next year, looking at Los Baños Fair and then the fair here in Merced, provide some free rides to passengers to be dropped off at the fairs. The remaining $365,252, we'd like to put that towards our capital reserve funds for our electrification initiative that we're going to have to be putting into construction in a few years. This program will complement our existing free fare programs and will not supplement fare box revenue. So the requested action is adoption of 2 resolutions. The first resolution is number 2023-04-2002, and the next resolution is 2023-04-2003, which will be for both of these projects. And with that, I'll be happy to take any questions for the board.
Okay. Any questions for Jose? All right, hearing none. Thank you, sir. And would you want to add real quick what an award that your agency won just this past week?
Yes, we received an award for, we were one of the agencies to go above and beyond. This is for all the efforts that TJPA staff put forward through the flooding and helping out with evacuations and just, you know, our operators and our whole operations staff. Just, we were, those days I remember waking up at 5 in the morning and just continuing on. If it wasn't something with the arts, it was something for TJPA. So it was a very well-deserved award from all staff and then our operations team with First Transit, now Transit Dev as well. So yes.
Stacey.
I'll just add, this is from the California Association for Coordinated Transportation. It's CalAct. It's a statewide association that we participate in. And in this instance, we, Jose and Nav met with and a few, I think, of our additional staff met with the valley-wide transit agencies on our regular kind of coordinated meetings that happen. And that body of our peers in the valley was the body that nominated TJPA for this award at the CalAct conference last week. This week. Was it this week?
Yeah.
This week. Yes. Thank you.
Statewide award, a big deal. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for your work, Jose.
We still need action.
Yes.
Always doing his job.
No, I had to get you. You show your award. It helps you with your ask, right? Trying to do you a favor. But all right. Any further discussion or a motion?
Move to approve.
Hogue and Pedroso. Any opposition? Okay, hearing none. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Jose. Nothing for item 11. Item 12A, the Regional Waste Management Authority items, starting with 12A, which is a construction of a low NOx flare.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This item is the second phase of the low NOx flare project at the Highway 59 landfill. Phase 1 kicked off about a year ago with the procurement of a flare. It's currently being manufactured and is scheduled to be delivered in June. Phase 2 is the integration of that flare into our current flare gas collection system. And so at the beginning of March, we released an IFB. We received 3 bids, no protests, and the lowest responsive and responsible bidder was BSE General Engineering with a bid of $319,841.83. This project's being covered by capital funds budgeted in fiscal year 22-23, and RWA is recommending the board authorize the executive director to enter into the contract with BSE in the amount of $319,842. And with that, I'll take any questions. I've got to be quick because the guy's following behind me.
All right, any questions? Okay, hearing none. Any comment from the public? Nothing. All right, back to the board for discussion and or action.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's Pereira and Pedroso. Any opposition? Okay, hearing none. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
James is on. We'll take the next one.
Okay. Mr. Moore, item 12B.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
To let Kyle and Philip handle this as they're there in the building with you.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. All right, Kyle. SB 1383. Everybody's favorite.
Take a deep breath. You got this.
Yes. So, thank you. We are finally here with our contract for you, and we are requesting that you authorize the executive director to enter a contract to development and operation of the Highway 59 Organic Waste Transfer Processing Facility with California Wood Recycling, which is DBA is Adjournment. And they're here today if you have any questions for them as we move along today. I'm going to let Philip go through our brief presentation here, and then we will, he and I, as well as James and Adjournment and their partner Bowles Farms, be able to answer any questions that you folks may have regarding this contract.
Thank you, Kyle. Good afternoon, Philip.
Thank you, Chair and Directors, and I guess there's no one else to pass this to, so I'll take the presentation. Went twice. We were here November 24th, 2021, and we issued a request for proposals for organic waste transfer and processing at Highway 59. We looked around the area, couldn't find anyone who could take the material, so we went out and found someone that could do it for us. We received 3 proposals. 2 of them were deemed non-responsive. And then on December 14th, 2022, you authorized RWA to seek resolutions from participating member agencies. So made our rounds to those agencies, the County of Merced, the City of Merced for resolutions. We also went to Atwater, Livingston, and just gave an informational item. The resolutions passed, which committed the flow to the authority. And now everyone's favorite question is how are we going to do this and how much is it going to cost? So it's a 2-phase approach to bring you into compliance. You can be compliant as soon as July 1. In phase 1, they're going to operate the current facility and they're going to allow bagged food waste, and they'll pull that and send that off site to a different facility. As they build a covered aerated static pile, a phase 2 approach, which the construction schedule is between 315 and 450 days at this juncture, depending on weather and shipping delays. And it's, as Kyle mentioned, it's a 10-year agreement with 2 options for 5-year extensions upon our mutual agreement. And they're going to provide $300,000 over the next fiscal year as a reimbursement for the cost of having this procurement.
Yes.
Could you say that again?
There's a $300,000 procurement reimbursement fee that covers the costs associated with issuing an RFP, the legal fees, staff, and all of that.
From who?
From Adjournment.
Okay, all right.
It'd be broken up in 12 payments across the next fiscal year. So the proposed per ton gate rate in phase 1 is $53.89 for commingled organics, which is the green waste, and it's going to have the food waste bagged in it. And then the food scrap composting for the 4-cart system like the City of Merced is $59.95. After they build phase 2, it's going to move to $66.28, and the food scraps is going to remain the same at $59.95. So again, the recommendation is to authorize the executive director to enter into a contract for the development of the facility at Highway 59 for a period of 10 years with 2 options to extend for 5 years. And we have Adjournment and their local partner, Bowles Farms, here to answer any questions, as well as myself, Kyle, and James.
Okay. Any questions for Philip, Kyle, James, Adjournment, Bowles Farms? Anybody? Director Sfera?
I just would like to have Derek from Bowles Farm come up and say a few words because he's such a great speaker. And Derek, and the honest question is what do you foresee doing with the end product? Can you share that a little bit with our board?
Sure, you're putting me on the spot, Scotty. Yeah, as Director Silvera can attest, we've been working on this for quite some time. Our permit, our facility was permitted back in 2017, I believe. And that initiated with a partnership with Adjournment because we saw the legislation coming down the pike relative to recyclable green waste that needed a home. And Bowles Farming Company is a 165-year-old farm located in Merced County in Los Banos. And we've reinvented ourselves multiple times over that 165 years. And so the current iteration of that is just really looking at agriculture as not just a science-based profession, but also a service-based profession. And how can we better serve our community by not only providing nutritious fruits, vegetables, and fiber in the form of clothing, but also crafting an opportunity to provide, a home for the waste created in the urban and rural sectors of our county. In addition to that, we've created a native seed company where we've applied some of the modern technology to farming, to propagating some of the local ecotypes of native plants here in this region, like, narrow leaf milkweed and some of those types of things. And so I'm incredibly proud to be here. This is something we've worked on for a long time, keeping our food waste local, having a professional partner that is able to craft organic fertilizer that can go back to our original purpose, which is feeding not only our local community, but in the last 3 years, our fruits and vegetables have reached just about every state in the United States, Mexico, Canada, and various other external countries. And so this is a really good opportunity for us to continue to improve our soil health, build towards some of our ESG goals that we have personally, and also provide a service back to the community. So I'm really grateful to be here today, and I hope this resolution is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Appreciate it. So,
hey, you were right. He's a good speaker. You called
yes.
it.
As much as I disagree with 1383 in general, and you guys have all heard, we've all talked about it up here on how it unfairly penalizes the disadvantaged, underserved, unserved populations that a lot of us up here represent. What I am proud about on this piece of it, and I would encourage my colleagues to vote yes on this, is that currently their current facility that they use, they're bringing stuff in from counties up and down the state that are coming to that facility. And so for us to be able to have a facility within our county to be able to process this stuff, at the end of the day, the numbers are big, but imagine if we were having to transport it to some county north of us or some county south of us. And then the really cool part about it is they are putting all that stuff back, it's going back into the soil. And Derek is kind in saying that not only do we feed ourselves, but really we feed the world. The Central Valley does. Ag is still our #1 commodity in this county, and the Central Valley for all that matter. So with that, Mr. Chair, if there's, I see Mr. Nagley wants to make a comment, then I'll
I just had one question. It's probably for Kyle or James, but as far as the tipping fees that are on page 179, how do those dovetail into the tipping fees that we'll be discussing in the next item, of what we've been talking about overall? Because they seem much higher than what...
The tipping fees are the processing fees. Is that the $56 and the $59?
Yes.
Right. That's the processing fee. As the material comes in, the trucks get weighed, and the jurisdiction will be billed that rate for the material. There is a fee from the RWA attached. That fee that complete fee would go to the services of processing that material.
Okay, because it's called tipping fees in the report, but they're much higher than what the other tipping.
Right, and it's because it's the fee that they're being charged per ton to bring in, but that fee is actually just the cost of the service for the processing. There won't be an additional tipping fee from the RWA. As with the recycling, there's a fee for us because we have to load it into the trucks that then get hauled to Fresno to be serviced. So there's a slight tipping fee on top of the processing. There won't be any loading or services from us, so it's just the processing that you'll be paying for.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Questions, comments? Director McDaniel? Anybody else? Okay, seeing none. Thank you all again for your work on this, your leadership, in particular, Bowles Farms, Adjournment. Thank you all for everything you've done, making a difficult and challenging situation, I think a lot more palatable for most of us. So again, thanks. All right. Further discussion, Director Silver.
There's no other further comments. I'd make a motion to authorize the executive director to enter into a 10-year contract with 2 optional 5-year extensions for the development and operation of the Highway 59 Organic Waste Transfer Processing Facility with California Wood Recycling Incorporated, DBA Adjournment.
Is there a second? All right. Motion from Director Silvera, second from Director Yanez. Any opposition to the motion? Okay, seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Takes us to item 12C. Back to you, Mr. Moore. on new tipping fee structure and implementation schedule.
Thank you, Chair Serrato, members of the board, everyone else that's there. Good afternoon. I'm here in Atlanta still, was at the SWANA SOAR conference this week. Attended a number of sessions dealing with landfill gas to energy projects, and also the main focus was on a lot of the actions being taken at the federal level on PFAS and PFOS chemicals in our waste stream. So it was very informative week for me, and I will be back next week. But today we are talking about our tip fee increase. Quick recap: in August of 2020, your board directed staff to prepare an action item for a tipping fee rate study. That process was begun in April of 2021. Over the last few months, we've had several workshops presenting the findings of that tipping fee study. At the last workshop, we presented the rates as we have established what is needed to establish our proper reserves. And in the following board meeting, you directed us to come back this month with an action item to implement those rates. The decision was made to defer the rate increases until July 1st of 2024. And then over the next 9 years, we will adjust the rates incrementally until at the end in 2032, all of the jurisdictions will be paying the same rate for materials brought into the gate. With that, your board package has that table at the back of the staff report showing those fee increases beginning July 1st, 2024, ranging from a little over 7% to about 9.5%, depending on the jurisdiction. And those rates continue through until fiscal year 2032-33. Any other questions? I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions for Mr. Moore? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, James, for your presentation. Any further discussion, comments, or motion? What's that?
I guess it's my turn. I'll make a motion.
Everybody was getting shy. All right. Motion, Director Nelson, second from Director Pedroso. Any opposition to the motion?
Nay.
Okay. It's one from Director Pereira. For all these years, I finally forgot your name. All right. Anybody else? All right. Motion passes with Director Pereira voting no. All right, nothing for item 13. Takes us to item 14, the Executive Director's Report.
Thank you, Mr.
Please.
Chair. I do have a couple of things I need to mention. One is that earlier this week, Elizabeth and I worked with our new state lobbying partners, Politico Group, on our first trip to Sacramento. We had a really successful day of meetings. We met with the California High-Speed Rail Authority, the California Transportation Commission, CalSTA, the Federal Highways Administration, CARB, and really we're using it as an opportunity right out the gate to just start to really work on those personal relationships between the agency and some of these key state partners. We work with them in a variety of ways, but with this firm that we now have the opportunity to work through, I know that part of that was that we want to be more intentional about engaging our partners, not just when we need help with something, but just to make sure that we're keeping them updated on everything that we've been working on here in Merced County. So that went really well. I will say the kind of reoccurring comment or the theme of the day was the general agreement from everyone we met with that there's a lot of opportunity in Merced County right now. People know about obviously the passenger rail investments that are coming, and the opportunities in the inland port, and everything just really coming together. So of course we spoke a lot about Highway 99 and how that's a critical part of our regional network, but overall a very successful trip, and there's a number of items we'll be following up on, including inviting some of those stakeholders to tour our region, particularly Secretary Omashakin and Caltrans Director Tony Tavares. So more to come there. So we already talked about our Above and Beyond award that TJPA was awarded. I do want to thank Chair Serrato and Vice Chair Pedroso for attending the CalAct conference. That's a really good introductory conference for board members interested in learning more about transit and all of the things that we do and what's happening across the state in the transit industry. And in addition to thanking the staff for all the work that went behind the scenes in coordinating the emergency response through the county's Office of Emergency Services to get that award, which was, I think, well-deserved because Jose was on the phone at 5 in the morning sometimes, and Nav and Adam, and it was took a team effort. But we also need to recognize Chair Serrato for being the new champion of the CalAct basketball competition. So Merced County came in really hot at CalAct. We got an award, and then he earned a second one for us. So we now have to have a repeat next year. So maybe we'll get a couple more directors to attend. Next week, we will be attending the San Joaquin Valley Regional Policy Conference in Manteca. This is an annual conference that is put on by one of the 8 Valley COGs. So we will have our turn here. It's not too far away because I know it was my first task when I joined MCAG, and that was 10 years ago, but COVID, they skipped a couple years, so I think if we're not next, we're pretty darn close. So we'll be planning a conference soon. Thank you in advance to Chair Serrato, Vice Chair Pedroso, Directors Nagy, Nelson, McDaniel, who I believe are all attending, planning to attend. Also, Director McDaniel will be, who is the Vice Chair of the Regional Policy Council. He will be opening the second day with opening comments. And I will be on a panel to talk about Highway 99, finishing the 99. I believe we are going to be at the afternoon of the first day. So we'll be very active and present. We have also a number of staff that will be attending. And then we also, MCAG nominated the county for a Blueprint Award, and they have been chosen to be the recipient of the Blueprint Award for Commercial Development for the Castle Commerce Center. So we'll have that opportunity at lunch for the county to be recognized. This Saturday is a compost giveaway at RWA at the landfill at Highway 59. So from 8 to 12, if you need compost, come on out and we'll help you load up preferably your truck, not your trunk. So bring a truck. But that's this Saturday 8 to 12. Also, we are happy to share that for the first time, we will be offering free shuttle service at the May Day Fair in Las Banas on the bus. So we will have a staging pickup location. I think it's near the Panda Express off of 152 on the east side of town, and then at the Walmart parking lot on the west side of town, operating free shuttle to the fairgrounds back and forth. So when we get those materials shored up, we'll make sure that information is pushed out and we can get it out to all of our residents. Not just in Las Banas, but if you're from Dos Palace wanting to go or Gustine, you can park and take a free shuttle into the bus. And then when the Merced Fair arrives shortly thereafter, we will also be offering free shuttle. This is not a new program. It's something we do every year, and it's always a very successful way for folks to either come to the Transpo, and I don't know if we're going to do multiple locations or not. Yes, we are, but also free shuttle service to get to the fair here in Merced. So we'll make sure you have all that information to share. I promise I'm almost done. Last thing, I promise, truly the last thing.
This is the keynote address.
It is. No. You probably saw your handy dandy annual report for Measure V. I want to say this is our, through the Citizens Oversight Committee and the financial auditing process, this is a report to the community that highlights the work that's happening thanks to Measure V. This year, the highlight is on the active transportation or the alternative mode projects. Some of the jurisdictions, I'll say, like for example, the city of Merced does an excellent job of actually tracking the number of potholes and the number of projects. That data is really, really helpful to highlight. So, what's that?
The counties are countless. That's why we
Yeah, okay. So data points like that are really important. Along with this, in this kind of now post-pandemic environment, I'll return back to coming to each of the councils to present this to the public, talk about Measure V. I think I'm scheduled for all of the cities at this point. And I think for the first time, we should probably do something also at the county, even though the 5 of you all hear it. The folks that are attending and listening into your board meetings, I think need to hear that this work is happening. So that is all underway. So that was a lot. We're really busy. Is there anything else from our staff? Okay. And the next time you hear from us, we'll have come back after being in Washington, D.C. So on our One Voice program. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, thank you, Stacy. A lot of good work, and thank you for everything you're doing. And congratulations again, both to the county and to the bus for the awards. Really cool to see statewide awards. It's a big deal. All right, director's report. Am I right? Anything? Nothing to report, sir. Josh?
Yeah, I had as was mentioned, the opportunity to go to that CalAct conference. And as I was coming back, I texted Nav and I said, I know what you guys did, because now I'm looking at buses a whole different way and transit a whole different way, because there's so much that goes into it. And so it was really impressive, and I really appreciated it. And then the other part of it too was just sitting there during the lunch and watching all these people get the awards. It was really a cool thing, because the coolest part about it was the fact that their peers nominated them. And so they recognized what we had done, or what they had done during the natural disaster, and by going above and beyond. And it was a very proud moment to represent not just Merced County, but represent, MCAG at that event as well. So congratulations to you guys. It was really impressive, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Although I think Matt cheated a little bit on the basketball.
You were texting while driving?
All right. Anything? Mayor Moran.
Hi. Something real quick that I forgot to mention earlier, when in regards to the Ana Maria Fuentes Scholarship, during the process, it was shared that there was potentially, because of the budget or the current amount in the fund for the scholarship, it was potentially only going to last a few more years. So the idea was presented to consider doing a fundraiser specifically for the scholarship, and I think that is something for this board to kind of consider and support. Just thinking ahead of time to make sure that continues for a long time.
Like it. On my left, April.
Oh, I do actually have something. Thank you. During our last city council meeting, Dos Palace approved the MCAG agreement. Also, we are going out to bid for our water plant, so I thought I'd share that with you. And then lastly, as mayor of Dos Palace, it has been my honor to put together a walkathon for Christina McDaniel. It's called the Heartbeat Walkathon. It was a person that I had met at one of our events 5 years ago, and it was a girl who her mother works for the Dos Palace School District, and she had had numerous heart surgeries, and she was known as the girl with the scar. And we got together and started to do a walkathon for scholarships. She wanted to do that, and we had talked about it, and right before we were getting ready to plan it all out, she had heart failure and passed away. So this is a walkathon that I've put together with her family and her mother and her husband, and this is our 4th year. It will be not this Saturday, but next Saturday, so the 28th, I think. 9th. 29th. We so far have given away 14 scholarships in the last 4 years, and our goal this year is $5,000. Last year we gave away 5 scholarships of $500. So anyway, if you have a chance to come out on Saturday the 29th, it will be at the Dos Palace track at the football field, and it should be a fun day. Last year we had probably 50 people participate, so it's really a fun time. And then also during our meeting, we gave a proclamation for the 100th year at the DES, and that will be a celebration on May 12th and 13th. So lots of things going on in Dos Palace, but I am very excited about the One Voice, so I can't wait. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
Got it? No? Lloyd? On the far end? Director McDaniel.
I would like to report out that I was in Sacramento for Valley Voice Sacramento. We met with our full delegation here in the San Joaquin Valley, and it's amazing how many new representation we have. Our main theme was encouragement for them to vote alike and to form their own caucus to represent the San Joaquin Valley. Also, I'd like to put out there, I think a lot of you already heard this, but yesterday was the 156th anniversary of Merced County. We broke off from the mother of all counties, Mariposa, yesterday, 156 years ago yesterday. So happy birthday, Merced County. 168, oh, sorry.
Independence Day for us.
All right. I just have 2 quick things. One, Las Banas recently held its large Rotary Crab Feed event. I want to thank Director Silvera for volunteering his time to be our auctioneer. The event raised enough money for us to do 22 high school scholarships, which we'll be giving out at the end of the school year, which was really neat.
He volunteers for you? He charges everybody else.
Good thing it's not public. I also want to mention this Saturday is our autism meet and greet held at the Las Banas Fire Station 1. It's available to anyone. Community event will be held for children, teens, and adults living with disabilities and their families to meet our local first responders and explore the equipment they may see at times in their lives. The event's designed to be a low-stress visit with no lights and sirens, comfortable, low-sensory experience. And so we want to invite members of the community to come out to our fire station and do that. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Paul. That's for me. It takes us to item 16, second chance at public comment. Anybody else want to be heard? Okay, seeing nobody. 17, we're going back to closed session. So we have one case, significant exposure litigation case we have to deal with.
Is anyone going to stay? You guys don't have to stay. You want to stay? No need to stay.
I just got to get
Yeah. We can stay. Can we stay in here?
We can stay in here. Hey, Nav and Jose.
Just, yeah, if you take off, yeah. It'll just be quicker rather than all the transition.
Anyway.
I'll let them know that's shut down.
The report out of closed session is that the claim of Michael Buckley against the Merced County Regional Waste Management Authority is allowed. The vote was unanimous.
All right, thank you, Emily. All right, takes item 19, which is adjournment. The meeting is now adjourned at 4:11.
Oh, could have been 4:20. No.
Good, in honor of the anniversary of Merced County.
4:20,
419.
Well, in honor of a lot of things at 4:20.
Yeah.
No, I.